Well, joining us here to discuss this moment is Patrick Verkooijen, who is the CEO of the Global Center of Adaptation. There is always big words here, Patrick. Is it really true this could be a turning point?
It could be a turning point, but only if the day after the summit, the world starts to implementing the commitments. The climate emergency is here, whether you're an elderly person here in New York City or an automobile factory worker in China, the impacts are distributed across the globe. However, there is a social injustice in the system. Those who did the least to contribute to the problem are suffering the most. We would say there is an emerging climate apartheid regime. There is a strong moral imperative to act. Over and above the moral case, there is a strong economic case to act.
Well, that's a new phrase now, climate apartheid on top of climate emergency. Now, you're working with the Global Commission on Adaptation, which is trying to help world communities, people adapt to this climate crisis. Are the poor nations able to respond?
Well, yes and no. Not yet, and certainly not enough. What needs to happen now is de facto we need to scale up the solutions which are happening already out there. Let me give you an example. In Miami, led by Republican Mayor Francis Suarez, what happened 2 years ago? 2017, Miami was hit by Hurricane Irma. $50 billion in damages in Miami. The Miamis then decided to tax themselves, to invest in a resilient Miami. Did they see it as a sort of a tax, as a cost alone? No, they saw it as an investment. The Global Commission on Adaptation, led by Ban Ki-moon and Kristalina Georgieva, has argued investing $1.8 trillion in the global economy will have $7.1 trillion in returns. So it's a strong economic argument to move and accelerate climate adaptation.
There's all these shining lights of Miamis around the world, communities, even countries coming together and saying, yes, we have to act now. But interestingly enough, you're calling for 3 revolutions, and the first is still about understanding, about getting behind the science.
Yes, the first revolution on understanding is about we need to truly understand where are the climate risks, who is impacted, which solutions are working and which are not working, how can we replicate, how can we go to scale. Example, Bangladesh, 1970, cyclone hit Bangladesh, killed 300,000 people. A few months ago, a similar cyclone hit Bangladesh, less than 20 people. Of course, still too many, but it's a dramatic change in sort of resolve in Bangladesh. What did they do? They planted forests, they had evacuation plans, cyclone shelters. If Bangladesh can do it, others can certainly follow. The challenge now is how can we accelerate adaptation action at scale and speed?
Well, let's hope that this is a beginning. Patrick Verkooijen, thank you very much for joining us here.